You travel thousands of miles expecting a serene, empty shot of Mount Fuji, only to find yourself standing shoulder to shoulder with thousands of other people fighting for the exact same angle. The default solution for most travelers is to head straight to Lake Kawaguchiko. It provides a passive, wide-open view of the mountain where you can sit back and take it in without much planning. But the images dominating social media feeds look completely different. They feature retro street lamps, tightly packed buildings, and a massive looming peak that looks like it's sitting right at the end of the road. Those specific shots don't exist at the lake. They are located inside the urban grid of a neighboring city called Fujiyoshida. But getting these shots requires a massive trade-off. You have to swap leisurely lakeside time for active logistical friction, physical exertion, and specific camera gear. This comparison shows what you're actually choosing between. On the left, the lake experience is low effort and passive. On the right, Fujiyoshida demands high effort and active navigation, but yields a more specific visual output. Capturing that cinematic look is a specialized task. It requires you to treat your day trip more like a logistics mission than a passive vacation. To evaluate if it's worth it, we use this quadrant chart. The vertical axis measures visual and cultural impact, while the horizontal axis tracks the required friction and effort. Take Honcho Street. To get that specific giant Fuji effect, where the peak looks huge behind the shops, you can't use a standard smartphone lens. You need a telephoto lens to compress the background. There is also a hidden safety cost. This is an active roadway. You have to shoot strictly from the side pavements and navigate real traffic. Because of the gear requirement and the need for situational awareness, Honcho Street lands at high-impact, medium effort. Then there's the Chiritoka Pagoda at Arakuriyama Sengen Park. Getting to that observation deck requires an immediate physical input, a climb up 398 steep steps. The payoff is also highly weather-dependent. To get the maximum aesthetic value, that postcard shot with cherry blossoms or fresh snow, you need to time your visit perfectly with highly variable seasonal elements. The intense physical climb combined with that weather dependency puts the pagoda in the high-impact, high-effort zone. Both of these locations sit in the high visual reward tier. They offer some of the strongest photographic returns in Japan, but attempting them without the right gear or physical stamina can result in a frustrating experience. Pursuing those high-friction spots is draining. To keep your trip sustainable, you need to balance the itinerary. That brings us to Kitaguchi Hongu Fuji Sengen Shrine, which serves as a necessary cultural reset within the city limits. This vintage stereograph shows pilgrims on the mountain. For centuries, this shrine was the actual starting point for those making the physical climb to the summit. Unlike the traffic on Honcho Street, this is a quiet, 1,000-year-old pine forest environment. It offers a scale and silence that you don't find at the major photo spots. Beyond the mental break, shooting in the mountain climate, especially in winter, takes a physical toll. The most efficient way to recover is Hoto noodles. It's a heavy, iron pot dish with miso and pumpkin designed specifically to warm you up quickly. Mapping these out shows their systemic value. The shrine is a low-effort cultural stop, and the noodles provide a high-impact physiological recovery for very little effort. Ignoring these low-friction spots in favor of only chasing photos usually leads to early traveler exhaustion. Then there is Fuji-Q Highland. This drops you into a completely different type of tourism. The costs here are high, a significant entry fee, a need for high adrenaline tolerance, and the fact that it will take up at least half of your daylight hours. The unique output is a set of inverted, high-altitude views of the mountain that you cannot get from the ground. On our chart, Fuji-Q sits at high effort, with a visual impact that is highly variable depending on how much you enjoy roller coasters. It's a high-risk time investment. It directly competes with your ability to see the rest of the city, so it's only worth it for dedicated thrill seekers. Now that we have the full portfolio of Fujiyoshida's attractions mapped out, we can make some final recommendations. Because the effort required for these spots varies so much, there is no single must-visit list. It depends on what you are willing to spend. We have broken the final recommendations down into 3 distinct archetypes. First, the content optimizer. You have the telephoto gear, prioritize the aesthetic, and have the physical stamina for the climb. For you, Fujiyoshida is a hard yes. Prioritize Honcho Street and the pagoda, but respect local traffic laws. Next, the cultural experiencer. You want the mountain atmosphere, but have limited time and aren't focused on viral photos. This is a conditional yes. Skip Fuji Q and the busy street, and route your time towards the shrine and local food. Finally, the casual, time-poor tourist. You have low stamina, want to avoid crowds, and want easy, low-effort photos. For you, the answer is no. Avoid the city's friction and stay with the passive, comfortable views at Lake Kawaguchiko. Fujiyoshida is a city built on a strict ratio of effort to reward. It offers specific visual returns for those who prepare for the friction, but it quickly exhausts anyone expecting a passive vacation.